I already posted several videos about the VelocityOne Flight System and how to set it up for Flight Simulator. In this video, we're going to look at a special one because this is for the TBM-930. Let's roll the intro and then let's look at the details. So we're in the TBM-930 and let's start at looking at what the issue is, right? So the TBM-930 is a little bit of a special aircraft because it's a propeller aircraft, but it also has the option to put this nice throttle in reverse mode or put it in feather mode, right? Where you can arrange that the, I would say, cutoff will happen eventually with the fuel cutoff. Out of the box, if you followed my earlier manual, it would say it likely didn't work, right? Because that's, say, normal between brackets. Because, let's say, you need to do something different compared to, for example, the Cessna 172. Let me dive into the configuration and show you what you need to configure. So first we're going to press escape, right? And then we're going to go to settings, and inside the settings menu, we're going to go to the controls. There we will see a lot of, I would say, profiles, right? Including the ones which we already set up for Flight Simulator 2020, and then mainly the custom ones. Now what you need to do is you need to set up a separate one for this. And the reason for this is because if you would search for reverse, because that's what you need to search for, then you will find both hold the propeller reverse thrust, toggle propeller reverse thrust, hold throttle reverse thrust, and toggle throttle reverse thrust. But as you can see, they're bound to the airplane's digital, which means it's bound to this specific area, which limits you of setting the profile on this part, which would make the most sense, to be honest. So what do we need to do? Well, there are two options, right? One of the options is that you leave the general controls in place and simply create a copy of this one. So we're going to say, hey, duplicate this one, and then we're going to give it a name. We're going to give it a name and we call it VelocityOne Flight. Flight Quad Custom MSFS. But you can also say TBM-930, right? If you want to make it yourself easier. Again, you don't need to select these options over here, right? So make sure that you don't do that. Now, if you have followed my previous videos, then you would have set up the controls like this, right? So some options are duplicate, some options are a single set, but that's everything is okay. You can also see that I set the axis, but the axis doesn't behave like it should. So what we're going to do is the following. As you can see, I would say the flaps are both set using the axis, right? And if you look in the left screen, I will show you which control I'm referring to. But it's also being assigned to button number 7 and 8, right? That's button 7 and 8, which are referred to on the PC version to joystick button 5 and 6. So what we're going to do is the following. We're going to remove these ones, right? Simply click on the option, click on delete, then go back, then do the same thing for the extend the flaps, delete it, and then we're good to go to continue. Next thing we need to do is change the filters again to either essential or none, and then search for that reverse option. Oh, and then I need to type reverse, right? Reverse. And we're going to use this one. Or this one. Likely we're going to use the toggle, and the reason for this is if you would use the hold, then you continuously need to push the button, and if you release the button, it will go again in that normal state again, which we of course don't want to do. So we're going to switch to over here and then can press either, I'd say, button number 7 or number 8. It really depends on what you prefer. I'm going to use button number 7, which is refers to joystick button number 5 on the PC version. And I'm going to set toggle throttle reverse thrust to that other button, right? Button number 6 or 3, button number 8, but that is joystick button number 6 on the PC version. Then you're good to go. So if you are now pressing exit, and then go back inside the aircraft, you will see the following happening, right? So let's first say, make sure that we're setting up the aircraft correctly, right? So I press this button. So here you can see that I can now move around this one. I can move it to taxi. Now, one of the things which you will observe is if you pull this a blue leveler to the outside, it will move it into this position. And I was initially thinking if I pull it further away, it will go initially into this position, right? Into the, let's say, let me show it. That's a little bit hard to show, right? Then we need to go to the untrusted mode, right? It's so, why didn't they make this easier, right? We're gonna move it. And then like this, right? This is what we want. Now the cool thing is that if I would say push this one, the joystick forward, right, it will go into this mode, right? So it keeps continuing if I do it manually. But of course, that's not what we want, right? Because we simply want to use the joystick for this. So what you can do now by configuring that button number 7, is press or push the throttle in this position, then press the B7 button, and the B7 button will move it completely, I would say, to the low mode, right? And then you can say shut down the engines. Of course, this is not as realistic as normally, and there's also one downside of it, because if you press the B7 button again, it will go full power. So be aware of that you put the aircraft on parking brake if you press the B7 again to get it out of that, let's say, feather mode, low feather mode. Now the same thing is applicable to the button number 8, right? Button number 8, if I press it, I can push the joystick or the throttle forward, and then it will go into reverse mode because this specific joystick doesn't have the reverse mode on the front axis, right? On the, I would say, upper levelers on the quadrant, it has. But hey, you likely want to use the levelers on the front of the joystick to control this throttle. And here you can see it works, right? If I press the F8 again and then press full forward, it will move around, right? So be careful with that because there could happen accidents if you are not on the parking brake. And here in this video, where we created a special configuration for the TBM-930 to make sure that we can put the aircraft in reverse mode as well as in low feather mode. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then also have a look at the other videos which I post about Flight Simulator 2024. And don't forget to look at my community. I post a survey there to get some information about, hey, when will be the best day to do a live stream? Because I'm planning a live stream really soon again to have, I would say, connection with all of my watchers to, I would say, exchange information, but also to see, okay, hey, how can we help each other? But also to maybe learn something new, both you from me and me from you. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy Flight Simulator 2024 or Flight Simulator 2020 if you're still on that. And I hope to see you back next time.